So what do we got?
Well, a big day on the space front. I know we've talked about space a little bit in the past, but Jeff Bezos launched his Blue Origin rocket up to 66 miles today. Any kind of initial thoughts before we go into kind of the specifics?
I mean, how far did what's his name, Branson?
Yeah, right. So he went 53 and a half miles. So there's something called, it's called the Karman line. That's at around 60 miles. So that's kind of the unofficial definition of space. There's also the 50-mile line, which is where NASA gives everybody their kind of astronaut wings. So Branson just went above that, and then Bezos has probably gone the furthest so far at 66 miles.
So Branson did like the 5K,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
no, the Red Bull
Mhm.
dude and the balloon did the 5K,
Yeah, so he did the
and then
10K. Yeah.
and then now we can say Branson did like the half marathon. Um,
Yeah.
the 13 point whatever sticker in the back window, and then Bezos comes in and then the guy did a full marathon. But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I mean, either way, kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I have heard arguments both sides though in terms of resource allocation. Is this the right way to go, or what do you see? Do you have an opinion on that side of things?
I saw a lot of negative comments, and it's like where I grew up, the thought was like broke people doing broke things, and like you're surprised by that, and then you see like rich people doing rich things, and yet we're still surprised by that. And I think this is part of rich people doing rich shit. Like I think it's cool. Did it change my day? No. um, I'm there's like trickle down effects. You do a Halo product in anything, right? It's you created this technology, you push boundaries, and that shit trickles down to something else at some point, right? So I don't think this is just about these guys going to space. I mean, they're trying to create something, and I can't hate on them for saying, "Hey, this is something I dreamed of," and then I went and made it happen. That's America. Now we can say it might be a colossal waste of money, but on the flip side, it's his money. He wants to blow it. It's if you want to take a 66-mile ride. um, when these dudes laying down the moon or some shit, then I might be listening. But I'm kind of like me personally didn't care. It's everywhere on the news and people are talking about it. But my first thought was rich people doing rich things.
Yeah, I thought you brought up I know we talked about this last week when Branson first went into space, just briefly, and you said, didn't we go to the moon already? I thought that was a really poignant point because all of this gets a lot of buzz, it gets a lot of PR, it gets a lot of people's tongues wagging, but is it as significant as that?
I mean, I think it's significant that it's like on the consumer side, or a private company, consumer private space travel type of stuff, where obviously you expect NASA to go to the moon because it's NASA, right? These are the best and brightest in the world or whatnot. So I think the difference is this was just driven from a private organization, but that's why it's kind of like I don't really care. Like, we already went to the moon. We've done a lot of other amazing things that seem like it's probably far more amazing and interesting than this.
Yeah,
So
no doubt.
I think this is what progress looks like, and I think a lot of people overlook that. Um, it's these little things that like gets you to the next step. Unless you want to wait around for NASA to do it all, which if you look at SpaceX, they didn't. So as far as their own personal achievements, I really don't give two shits.
Yeah.
There's far more noble things to do in the world than this, but um, I think that whatever they are doing here is likely going to trickle down to somewhere. And that, like, that thought of allocating resources, I've heard that as I slowly gained wealth through my 20s. I ran into people that would say stuff like that, and then when you kind of hit them back with, well, you know where'd you spend your money? Like, did you really need to spend $200 on dinner? You could have spent $10 on dinner, and you could have donated $190 to feed people.
Right.
And then you start calling people on that shit, it's they get quiet pretty quick. It's
Right.
Like I ran into someone once with the Patagonia coat, which I think those are, I don't think they're like crazy expensive, but I know they're not cheap. But that whole mindset of should spend more money helping people, and I'm like, well, why don't you buy a cheaper coat? And they go, well, this is all these reasons why they bought a Patagonia coat, right? And my thought was, but if you really want to walk the walk and talk the talk, then you don't need a Patagonia coat. You could have bought a cheaper coat and donated 2 coats. And I think that's just fine if you want to live that way. But it's like, don't talk to me about food insecurity and donating to food banks when all over your Instagram you're eating $15 truffle fries.
Right.
And that's where I think we get in this. It's easy to say, oh, all these other people are wasting money, and you could feed these people and you could cure all this stuff. Well, but what did you do? And that's where I don't like that argument. Sure, a lot of this money could have been reallocated to do something else. But, Bill Gates kind of gets away with it, right? He'll go buy a, 3-mile long yacht or something, and then donate like 50 million over here, and then you forget that he bought a giant yacht. And it's like, well, we get to see through that shit, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. To kind of maybe dig a little bit into your interests, like how does space interest you as a tourism place? So a bit of background. I think Branson's trying to shoot towards getting like a $250K per seat price on his flight on the Virgin Galactic plane. That's kind of how much it's kind of costing right now, and then he's trying to bring that down to 40K. At 40K, would you fly on one of these planes?
No. I'm good, right?
Yeah.
I'm not looking to get to space anytime soon. But for a lot of the world, 40K is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's also not a lot of money. When you look at some of the resorts in the world, there's people spend 40K on a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
A private charter flight, even from from Detroit to Miami and back, is like 25 grand. Just to charter a small private plane, that's $25,000-$30,000. So it's 40K to get a seat to go to space. That crazy? No, not with inflation. I'm pretty sure I had a friend telling me his wife and his 2 kids went to McDonald's, and that was $50. So I think for a lot of people that got money right now, like 40K might not be a lot of cash.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I've thought was interesting with both companies' approach to doing these flights is who they've made up the rest of the passengers with. I don't specifically remember the Virgin Galactic, but I know diversity was part of it. And on Blue Origin's flight, they have the youngest ever person to go to space and the oldest ever person to go to space. Do you think that's a play on like the Bezos and Branson knowing that, look, this does look like kind of billionaire playground, and we'll try and do something good along the way? Or do you think do you think there's merit there?
I guess, what is the point of taking the oldest and the youngest? Like, is there a merit tied to age here?
I know the backstory for the oldest. She's an 82-year-old lady who was, I think it's called like the Mercury 13 project. It was like and it got scrapped, but it was supposedly, I think, like the first time women were going to go to space as part of NASA. So when that got scrapped, I think she lost her opportunity. So this is kind of redemption almost.
Oh, I didn't know that part. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just a general thought. I mean, when I see, when you first said your youngest and oldest, I mean, oh, that's his PR stunt, and I'm trying to get in World Book of Records, and
yeah.
To me, like, that's why I think a lot of times people end up hating rich people, because they do shit like that, and then they think like the rest of the world's dumb, and it's like, no, I know why you're doing that, and I'd probably, he probably should have took like 8 of his buddies, and they should have, drank some microbrew beer on the way up or something. That would have been less predictable than trying to do things that are going to get PR. And that's where that's where I kind of don't care. I think it's cool they're taking people and whatever, but I think that there's a lot of this stuff's legacy play, and the more it is about legacy, the less I care.
No, I see. They should have brought a Zippo lighter and said, "Look, Zippo works in space."
I'll do something. But
Right. There was a cool paragraph I thought, or I wanted to ask you from a kind of a corporate strategy standpoint, as somebody who's led a lot of different companies. I was curious to know your thoughts, but it was that Bezos stepped down as the CEO of Amazon kind of within the last couple of weeks, and I know that there'd been a kind of a plan for a long time now to get Andy Jassy into the CEO spot. But do you think that this flight and kind of the risk of it played into that decision at all? Do you think that he was worried about maybe if something happened, the kind of the welfare of all the Amazon employees taking a hit? Just your thoughts there.
I gotta imagine whether it's a small part or large part, hell if I know. But yeah, I mean the plane blows up and the CEO, I can see that would probably crush Amazon, right?
Right.
But there's been a lot of CEOs. The last 2 years, a lot of CEOs have been stepping down.
True. True.
Which is normal. There's always kind of natural attrition on that side, but a lot of big CEOs stepping down, and I just wonder if I think it might be tied more towards the world just getting it's hot, not in temperature. Well, that probably temperature too, but the world's just getting really hot. If you're anybody that is kind of wealthy or successful, or you have power or influence, is this laser beam on you. And I feel like, Gates stepped aside a little while ago, and you just feel like it's not worth it anymore. You got $100 billion and you can still be a part of it, right? But do you want this constant focus on you where you feel like everyone's just trying to tear you apart limb by limb, no matter what you do? And I think when these guys just get to the point where they're just like, F it. And I think that's probably more where these people are at right now. In a weird way, it's getting tougher to be successful. I think you can have a low amount of success, but even then the people in your own circle come after you.
Right.
But to be rich right now and have the newspapers and the media and social media on you all the time, it's just like, F this, I'm out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's my opinion anyways.
Just to dive in a little bit more, have you ever been faced with a decision that was maybe risk on and you thought, you know what, I'm not going to do that because I lead a company? Or has being a founder or an entrepreneur ever stopped you from doing something that you wanted to do?
I mean, not in that sense. The good thing is I have a great executive team that even if I decide to go to space and blow my ass up at 56 miles, that the company's going to keep trudging along because I have a great management team and executive team in place. There's probably other things that I wanted to do as far as on the angel investment side. There's probably other companies I wanted to invest in, that type of stuff. But I just decided I'm going to hang on to more capital, either put it back into the company or just, save it for a rainy day because it's, with COVID, that's the third recession I had to survive since starting, the one company anyways. And not only that, it's 2001 sucked. 2008 was a monster. And then, I had to survive a, recession / pandemic. So
yeah, right.
The thought was, there's probably some other investments I would have liked to make, but you step back and you say, from a risk assessment side, what am I better at? I'm just going to stockpile cash and know that there's always another bump in the road. And it could be tomorrow, it could be 3 months from now. You could have it in 3 months, and another one could happen a month later. There's really no timing. So my own experience after the third goddamn recession is hang on to money.
Yeah, that's probably prudent advice. Let's finish this conversation, James, with something a bit fun. Would you go to the moon or would you go to Mars if you had a choice?
Yeah, I don't seem like there's a whole lot of cool shit on the moon, but it kind of gets some dust. I don't know. I guess I'm more interested in anywhere where we might be able to live one day, because I forgot what Elon Musk was saying about we're going to have to get out of here at some point, but it just feels like you see those people in life that they burn everything down around them, and then they go to the next place and they burn it down, and they go. It's almost like we're destroying this planet, and we're that person right now.
Yeah,
and we're gonna screw this place up so bad that we're gonna have to go somewhere else. So it seems like we can't live on the moon. So I'm probably more interested in Mars, if that's even, or somewhere else that we're gonna be able to escape to, because it just seems like one way or another, there's like 10 different ways we're probably destroying the planet, right? On the low side. And at some point, whether it's a nuclear war or crap we pump into the air, or we poison ourselves with all the batteries we're creating, like somehow we're gonna destroy this place. So yeah, wherever we can escape to sounds pretty good. I'll go there.
All right, great.
That's all I got, though. I'll catch you.
All right, later.